So what are your thoughts as a new Canadian?
Oh God, I like this, but
Sorry to reverse, but I'm really curious. I mean, are you concerned? Are you okay? Because I mean, what's your thought? What are your thoughts?
I'll tell you, Dr. Charleboy, it's in part one of the reasons why I stepped out to do a podcast. And it's because I'm deeply concerned that one, the promise of the country that I had coming into Canada is different from the reality that I'm living 10 years after. And I think a lot of immigrants would agree with that.
Because you
I look at it
chose
like this.
Canada for a reason. I was born
As a
here, so I
matter
didn't
of
choose
fact,
Canada.
As a matter of fact, yes. And it's, on a tangent here, when we talk about even the high immigration numbers and the way it's portrayed now, and then government brings in immigrants and they say it's not the duty of government to find accommodation for immigrants. I would say yes. But your duty to provide policies that will sustain the immigrants while they are here. It's an unwritten agreement between government and an immigrant that is coming in that we are promising you the potential good life that you could have here, because there are several other countries that you could have chosen. I chose to come here. I say I'm an economic immigrant. I went to school here, studied really hard, thinking that okay, a time will come when things become better, and as you earn, as you do well economically, you can actually afford better things. But it looks like that promise is fleeting. So it's almost like the goalpost was moving on me here and there as I progressed in Canada. It's become a form of a government lies, to say the least. And I'm really being honest with you,
Wow,
and I know many immigrants would agree with this. It's
really?
become a lie, a moving goalpost on people. I came into Canada, I'll give you an example. I came into Canada, my tuition per year was $18,000 at Dalhousie University.
And thank you
Right
for that, by
now,
the way.
yeah, right now, I don't know how much to pay at Dalhousie for international students, but I look at a place like Carleton, U Ottawa here. Tuition plus differential fee, international differential fees, it pushes the fee up to about 40,000, 50,000.
Yeah.
The value that people get versus that amount, I don't see it. I can't justify such. And then you finish school, the jobs are not there. You finish school, affordability has gone to the winds now in Canada. When I moved to Halifax 2015, I shared a two-bedroom apartment. Yes, three of us share the two-bedroom apartment. I paid $275 per month.
Wow.
That's how little it was. Right now, that same apartment goes for well over 1,400 per month.
Yep.
The first car that I bought in Halifax, I bought it a 2014 Toyota Corolla. I bought it 12,500. The last appraisal on that car is $14,000. The
So
salaries have not
so
improved.
you feel, I mean, this is shocking because the Liberals tend to be incredibly popular with new Canadians, and what you're saying basically is that the current regime has actually failed you as someone who chose Canada to increase your to better your faith essentially, and and to find a new life, a better life.
Yeah, let me be clear also, because I know people will come after me for saying all of that. But let me be clear: Canada, compared to many other countries, is a great country. I just had the conversation with an immigrant about that also on the podcast. Like, if you compare with many African countries, Canada is doing way, way, way better. There's even no basis for comparison. If you compare with some autocratic nations in the Middle East or communist nations around the world, Canada is doing great. But if you compare Canada with itself, the decline is obvious.
I think you're coming from, this is how I'm reading your comments. I think you're coming from a place of disappointment, and you see Canada as a great country that, I mean, essentially I think you're recognizing Canada has a lot of potential, but it's not reaching that potential at all.
You just nailed it.
Yeah.
There is a
And I
huge
agree. I
potential in the
agree
nation.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, huge potential in the nation. And goodness, how many times have I considered maybe I should relocate elsewhere? But you also look at the climate elsewhere, and it's like, I better think about this carefully. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Well,
I'll let people be the judge in the
I've been
comment
offered a
section.
job to the U.S. and I've said no because I mean there are great opportunities in the U.S. I mean, you probably know right now the U.S. is really going after key Canadian academics because they know that universities are in trouble financially. You see, your role as an international student. So I used to be dean. at Dell. When you were actually
All
at
right.
Dell, I was dean at Dell. I was dean of the Faculty of Management.
All
International
right.
tuition, so that double tuition didn't go to faculties, it went to central, which made administrations addicted to international student tuition. And a lot of students don't know that. But so you paid tuition, okay? That went to faculty. That double tuition went to the president's office. So central
I
administration
see.
became addicted to that money. And now that money is not coming in as much. So
Mm,
many universities, including Dalhousie, and there are I think 20 of the 22 universities in Ontario are losing money now, including Carleton, including the University of Ottawa. All of them are losing money because they're trying to figure out a way to increase revenues without the support of that double tuition. But
mm,
academic units never benefited from that international student. The people delivering programs, okay? The faculty, the staff, close to students, the people you interacted with, there was no infrastructure, there was no support. So they're not basically, they weren't benefiting from that double tuition, but they will be paying for it because right now they're looking at laying off a lot of faculty and staff as a result. So, but
So you're saying there is a likely brain drain in academia right now in Canada?
I think yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to get worse. Yeah, absolutely. And I can feel that a lot of Ivy League universities in the US know that many universities in Canada are vulnerable financially. And so they'll be going after some key scholars and bring them to the US with higher salaries and better benefits.
That is awful.
And of course, with a weaker
That's
dollar,
awful. Yeah. Hmm.
it makes, yeah, I mean, it's some of the offers are pretty interesting. I'll be honest with you. I mean,
Hmm.